Alright, look, I know that there are production photos out there, but I 100% believe that James Wan didn't finish directing this movie. Was Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, well, something smells fishy. Alright, that's one pun. Let's see how many I can shoehorn in here today. Let's get into it. Hey movie fans, I'm Matt, and today we're looking at Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, starring Jason Momoa, Patrick Wilson, Yahya Abdul Matten, and is directed by James Wan. The DCEU has officially come to its end, and while I have my thoughts on the Snyderverse and its impact on me as a moviegoer, I'm going to save the bulk of those thoughts for when I eventually review Rebel Moon Parts 1 and 2. You know the actual Snyder Cuts of these films because Netflix decided to artificially create hype for more Snyder Cut movement, even though there didn't need to be one, but it's a marketing gimmick now. But Netflix is always gunning to keep subscribers and they keep raising their prices, but they keep spending $200 million on movies that don't actually make them any money, but they won't put any of their films in theaters, and I'm sorry, I'm rambling now. Where was I? This movie is the sequel to the 2017 film Aquaman, which is the first and only DCEU film to break $1 billion in its box office run. There's a poetic irony in the fact that the superhero most often subjected to ridicule emerges as the most triumphant figure in a cinematic universe.
Ooh, someone say cruise ship like in the ocean? Why didn't you invite me?
Oh, to tell the fish to get out of the way? No, they figured it out.
Nice one.
You just gotta love it. Now the first one is goofy fun with sprinkles of James Wan-isms in it, but I'm telling you that the first film almost loses me during the scene when Arthur and Mira come walking out on the beach with Pitbull playing in the background. Like, what is this? Or this absolutely strange shot of Amber Heard with this strange song that plays behind it that just doesn't fit. Seriously, the first one is weird, but it's pretty much a good time. And with anything that makes $1 billion in the box office, a sequel is pretty much guaranteed. Now, the production of this film faced many challenges between dealing with shooting during the pandemic, to the overloaded workload of visual effects artists during this point in time, to the dreaded many rounds of reshoots that included Michael Keaton's Bruce Wayne and Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne? What? And it doesn't help that Warner Brothers and DC was going through regime changes at the time and announcing that this iteration of the cinematic universe was coming to an end. Seriously, they announced this 11 months before Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom was going to arrive in theaters. Now obviously, I don't have a foot in the door of the Hollywood scene here, I'm just a dude filming videos in a room, but something wasn't adding up here. And well, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom definitely struggles to stay afloat. While the film attempts to build upon the success of its predecessor, it becomes clear that the waters it navigates are murky at best, and really lacks the inspiration and cohesion needed for a compelling narrative. Narrative itself is a turbulent mishmash of ideas, where 2/3 of the film dedicate themselves to an issue that ultimately bears little significance by the last act. And overall, the weight of the film's resolution is just severely diminished. And for a director known for his prowess in horror filmmaking, the absence of any horror elements in Wan's execution of Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom is straight up disappointing. Even the first film, as goofy as it is, had the incredible trench scene sequence, and this film lacks anything truly memorable. I can only account for one moment that there's any attempt at any horror or tension, and it becomes clear that the film strays from Wan's established strengths, but I have a sneaking suspicion this might be a script issue. We're just left adrift in a sea of disconnected sequences. Utilization of flashbacks feels oddly out of place, almost as if the filmmakers assume the audience has collective amnesia about the first film's narrative. Film cuts to black. Like a lot. And I know I'm not some big Hollywood editor, but rather than enhancing suspense or really serving a purpose, it becomes an overused stylistic choice that disrupts the flow of the story. Reshot scenes are glaringly evident, and it's totally reminiscent of the infamous Justice League reshoots.
Well, I knew you didn't bring me back because you like me.
I don't. Not.
There's abrupt changes in angles and dialogue disruptions and scenes that are just not cohesive. Do you see a running theme here? While the challenges of creating a believable underwater world are certainly acknowledged, there are certain moments in this film that feature visual effects that fall well below an expected standard. Look, The Flash was undoubtedly the worst when it comes to visual effects in the DCEU films, and for the most part they're fine in this movie, but there are moments. Yikes. Arthur and Mira's baby's face after birth? Ooh. The film's musical score is as generic as it comes, and there's nothing to celebrate. And even more noticeable is the absence of music. Like, numerous scenes had zero music. Like, did they run out of money? Are you squidding me? Like, I just don't get what happened here. Even the inclusion of commercial songs is marred by questionable choices, with each song being repetitively used, and this could be just me, but it absolutely bugs me when music is reused during a movie, unless of course it's part of the main running theme of the film. Okay, this is a straight nitpick here, but there's a small time jump in the film, and the visual cue of the jump is the baby's increased hair length. Seriously, I'm not kidding. It's hilarious, and once again, such details contribute to the lack of any inspiration. But what about the performances? They're okay. Jason Momoa has already done so much rehabilitation for the character of Aquaman, and he fits extremely well in this role and maintains the same charisma that helped audiences grow attached to him. But his overall character doesn't really grow in this movie. I think if anyone has any growth in this film, it's Patrick Wilson as Orm, who I think was the best part of the movie. Him and Momoa have great chemistry, and it's a beacon of light in an otherwise dim sea. Yahya Abdul Matten is okay in this. He's a good actor, but with what occurs with him as Black Manta in this film feels more like a missed opportunity to really further explore the rift between him and Momoa's Arthur, to really drive home that these two are nemeses. Am I using that word right? And I know this may ruffle some feathers, but Amber Heard, despite her off-screen controversies, delivers a commendable performance, making the most of her limited screen time. In short, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom feels like a mandatory sequel rather than a passionate continuation of a successful franchise. The absence of a cohesive vision and a haphazard inclusion of various elements leads to an experience that fails to, well, make any waves. The film struggles to rise above the tide of mediocrity, and it stinks that this is how the DCEU came to an end. Not with a bang, but with a sinking feeling of missed opportunities in a vast ocean of superhero storytelling. So unfortunately, it's with that I can't give my recommendation for this film. Warner Brothers and DC Studios have a lot of rehabilitation to do with these characters, and hopefully next year's Superman film can kick it back into gear and get these characters back to glory days. Good luck, James Gunn. And I knocked out 10 puns today. I'm pretty proud of myself. I'm feeling fantastic. As always, I encourage you to watch the film and form your own opinion though. Let me know your thoughts about it down in the comments below and have your voices heard. Also, if you enjoyed this review, please like this video and subscribe to my channel to get more movie reviews from me. Your support is greatly appreciated. Next time, we put on a smile and continue to be nice as I check out Jake Gyllenhaal in Amazon's Roadhouse. Another streaming film that for some reason isn't going to theaters. But that's besides the point. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys at the movies.